We are on.
April, Missy, and Cedric.
We got a quorum now. We
Okay.
got 4 of y'all.
All right, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, all present except for Missy, April, and Cedric.
Yep.
Okay, you have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting in front of you, and those were emailed out.
They were.
I got them.
I know they were. I got them.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you didn't. I was
Yes, they
getting
were.
nervous for a second. So is there anything on here that, Cedric has arrived? Anything on here that, needs to be, corrected, fixed, added, or deleted?
Not that I saw. I'll make a motion, we accept the previous minutes as presented.
I'll second it. All in favor? Opposed? Birthday was here for the day. There you go, sorry.
Thank you.
May make me do that, I don't know. It's my husband's birthday, so I wrote his birthday for the day.
I'll get you out of here quick.
All right. That's okay, heading to church anyway. All right, recognition of guests. Who do we have as guests today?
Mr. Hatcher?
We have Mr. John Hatcher here. He is actually C on new business, but I'm going to let him go ahead and explain
Okay.
what we are...
Oh, I'm fine, y'all can go ahead with me.
Are you sure?
Sure, go
All right.
ahead.
All right. We don't have any committee reports. Unfinished business, Gardenia Park update.
Gardenia Park update. So, as not promised, that I told Misty that we would have the swing set put in. Everything else is in, but, you know, I got to give it to the guys, though. I mean, they're working. It's just, you can't keep up with grass right now, so. They've been everywhere trying to cut grass, keep grass down, so it's on their plan. I've talked to Steve. Steve brought it up to me 3 or 4 times this week. He's trying to get to it. But all we gotta do is put it in the ground, put the cement poles, things around it, and that part will be done. Gaga ball pit's done, sidewalks are done. If y'all get a chance, really drive through, that park and look at it. It's coming along really, really well, so.
Well, Thomas, we'll just put that all in as a swing set delayed due to weather.
Well, I was,
They said it's
I was
raining so
really
much.
pushing to have it done by this meeting, but
Right.
like she asked me to, but it's just,
Yeah.
those guys have been busy, they really have been, so.
Okay.
They've been cutting grass everywhere.
Splash pad.
Oh, gosh. So splash pad update. So in my bag right here, I have got the, bid that came back that we went ahead and worked on. We went ahead and got ahead on the bid. So this is the bid for the actual equipment and all that. This does not include, the components, the 3 component plans that we're putting in there. We'll put those in later. But this nice file right here will go to the commission. They're gonna look at that. Came down, it's $82,000 for the pump and all the different things that go underneath of it. So that part's done. Kate and I met with Mike Floyd yesterday and Gerald Vick, our engineer. So that's going really good. We're pushing through with a lot of different things right now. The thing is sitting at the state office, waiting to come back as a contract that will go to the mayor. So that will not be on the agenda until September. At the board meeting, we just found out that this afternoon, the way we gotta do it, according to lawyers, the mayor's just not signing off on something. But at the same time, we can still go ahead and push forward on the engineering plan. So that file right there actually has a lot of that done. So once I'm allowed to sign off with Vortex that won the bid, I've met with them 4 or 5 times already. We'll kind of put all that master plan in place. As well, I've met with the high school 3 or 4 times. I will tell you that this year, it looks totally different. I'm very impressed actually with this new Kate Finn, I believe, is what her name is. She's out there. And so as far as where we were last year and where we are this year, she's not really in the classroom, so she can be everywhere. So it looks like she's really trying to, I met with her 3 or 4 times already this week. I met with the high school classes this morning. They're ready to put in their curriculum and start building. They're very excited about that. So I don't think we're going to have as much of a delay as we had from last year. The engineer plan's mostly done, but they still got to go out there and measure. The measuring part is where we're having a little bit of an issue right now. After we met with the engineers yesterday, I'm meeting with Kate and Donnie on Friday, we're gonna have a little bit of a, thing we gotta kinda go back on. I didn't build Mount Pleasant, so, there is no sewer anywhere over there. So, the closest sewer tap,
What's the bathroom at the center used?
it's being ran to behind the softball field where the police usually park. There's a cap back there, the softball field for the middle school. There's another tap that they put in behind the field house, which is closer to the center, but then you're gonna be dealing with, in order to use that tap, we're gonna have to go across the football field, and we're gonna have to dig up lines. It's gonna be a lot to put in. The other tap is on Iris Drive, down the road, so there must be some houses on Iris that are on septic, because it's halfway down Iris Drive that the sewer taps, we have to tear up street to get to the hill. My option, me and Donnie discussed this morning at 7:15, of putting a septic tank in out there, if we can get the perk test to go through. It costs about $3,000 versus probably $20,000 to do it the other way, and have to get a general contractor and everybody involved to be able to do that. So, we're only dumping a little bit of water at the end of the summer that we chlorinate anyway, that would go through that septic system. So,
I would think that
it's on a height line.
It's on the
It's-
high.
Yeah, probably a county line.
And where, you know, I was talking with Don about today too, where there's gonna be an issue with all that is, you know, last year, of course, they brought up the whole thing, they had to pay the $2,800, whatever it was, and she said, I'd stay away from that as much as possible if you can. So, I think it'd just be easier, instead of tearing up land all across the place, just putting in a septic tank. You know, we can get water, there's water right over at the elementary school side that we can bring in that line for a, you know, 2-inch or whatever we gotta get, but we won't need a lot of water, just feeding it the first time, and it goes into a tank from there. So, that is, it's a work in progress. I've spent basically most of last week and this week on it, so we're moving forward with it. I wanna get the engineer plan done, so that way we're one of the first ones in the state to have our stuff in. So we're trying to work on that, get these little kinks worked out, and go from there. We're already working with, different general contractors, people I'm trying to filter in, and some plumbing and different things like that. So it's a work in progress. We have moved considerably forward on that already, just in the past week. So, and again, I'm just trying to get as much of it done as we can, so when it does get signed in probably late September, we may have the engineer plan completely finished. Or if not, right after that, it goes to the state. They might only take a week or two, and we can start building. So it'd be nice to be able to see maybe something late October, November, if we need to go ahead and start building, getting this bathroom and stuff up in the splash pad park. That's where we're at on that.
All right, Air Mines.
Air Park, again, drive by it. You'll see a lot of construction going on down there. We put there's a parking pad down there already, and there's a sidewalk to form the pavilion. Hopefully they start building that pavilion real soon. That is Triple C. It's on their agenda, it's on their list. So it's all been approved, and so that'll be built in hopefully pretty soon, and then they'll finish up the concrete going into the entrance. They're waiting until the big trucks come in and get all that done. So if you drive by there on the weekend too, you'll also see a lot of kids down there, a lot of people down there using that park already anyway. So go by and look at it. That's looking really good as well. Power field update concession area, that is almost done. That's another work in progress. They're waiting on the state, should be able to inspect that hopefully this weekend. Supposedly there's a state inspector that's been sick or something, and so they've been taking a lot of time to get inspections done. So I just talked with Shane the other day. Hopefully that'll get done, and then all you gotta do is paint the outside of the sidewalk type area, and then we're good to go with that project. That was emergency funding anyway.
All right, new business, approval to accept funds for grant.
So we can take that off, because I just found out what that basically was, is we're giving the mayor approval once the thing comes in, to be able to do it, but they want to hold, the lawyer wants to hold that off until next month, so they know exactly what it is that he's actually signing for. The whole commission will see it. So that's kind of changed, so I just went through this afternoon.
Okay, park rules discussion.
So this was brought up, I believe, a while back. We kind of discussed a little bit about this. Park rules, signs, we got different signs in different places right now. If you look around, none of them are consistent. So I meant to do some research. I have not yet, but I think we need to kind of come up with a general idea of what this board agrees on what these signs need to say. Number one, if you look at our signs are horrible anyway. They're horrible. They're falling apart. I think they look bad. I kind of want to redesign those signs and really kind of put that into a budget or next year's budget, whatever. But at the same time, we can make regular signs and just have general rules. One of the rules was brought up that there's nothing up there at Gardenia Park. We had people up there riding ATVs, so we need to kind of put some of that stuff on. So I'd like to kind of look into that over the next, couple months. If you guys will have some of your ideas on things that, you've been around here a lot longer than I have.
Can we get us to bring you the ones that we've already done?
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah, if you have some, and maybe it's just that we didn't, not every park has them. And if you go to some of the parks, you also notice where I don't know who approved it, but it's got tape across it. Where you'll see that rule's taken out, no profanity, no alcohol, whatever. But if you go and look, I know there's one at Gardenia, there's one down at, out Howard Field that's got some stuff taken off of it, there's something else over somewhere else. So, we just need to be consistent, I think, throughout the parks. I think it'll make it look better, and then we can get them signs made for like $30, I think is what Steve said. They're not that expensive, they're like day long and way wide or whatever. I mean, we did some of those for some other things, but...
We've had different signs made. We like the ones at the teen center where they were on the metal. Those weren't very expensive either.
Yeah, those weren't very expensive. I just want to be more consistent, so if you have some stuff that we've had in the past, let's bring those to the next meeting or two, and we can kind of discuss that, so
Here. It's awesome.
we can start putting that in as a plan on because what we'll do is we'll take those rules that we have, that we want, and then we'll get them approved from commission, and then they can say, yes, this is what we're going to put in the parks. So, and I'm going to try to find some ideas. Victoria, if you have a chance sometime or whatever, and you're just bored, researching different park rules. Don't need anything lengthy, but it just needs to be the basics.
Yeah.
What we really need to kind of have. So I'll call some other cities too. But just kind of get your ideas together on that. We'll bring that up when we finish business the next couple months, so we can kind of work on that. Hey, April.
Okay. All right, approval. Scout Hut.
That's you, John.
That's going to be, I'll go ahead and explain a little bit of it. So I'm basically put on here approval to be able to, Mr. Hatcher, John here, I went to him, about a month ago, with my arms up in the air. I've been to Dolores, with my arms up in the air. Of course, our team that kind of started it, we didn't know what we were doing. We just don't. I mean, we don't know what we're doing. And two things need to happen. It's either A or B. We need to wreck it down and let it fall. We need to fix it. Because it's going to wreck down and fall real soon if we don't fix it. So I've asked John to come in and kind of explain some of what, he's already talked to Kate and stuff as well, but if you want to go ahead and explain it.
Sure. Thank you for allowing me to come tonight. We'll just kind of start out with the basics. I want to first go back to your previous discussions about the signs. I just wanted to let you know I've been kind of out of sight lately, but I wanted to remind you there is a sign, a blank sign for the city in storage that's exactly like the Willieville Walking Trail sign over the community center. If you will notice, I don't know if you remember, but it's a really nice looking sign. So there's another one just like that in storage somewhere. So just remember that. And if you haven't noticed it, you ought to look at it. It's a pretty cool sign. It's not just one.
Steve knows where he is.
Let's take a look at it. Just wanted to remind you that it was there, so it is there. The Scout Hut, I don't know, this will be about year 6, I think, when the funds were originally appropriated, which was $5,000 5 or 6 years ago. But for some reason, the funds were never released. There was always some turmoil. There was always something that would never get started. And things have kind of gone in a circle. I have watched the Scout Hut deteriorate. We all have. To give you a little bit of the history of this, I'm sure all of you remember Dr. Paul Sands from Columbia State. Before he passed away, he was at my oldest son Eagle Scout ceremony and told me the history of the cabin. We don't know the exact date. Dr. Sands was the first Eagle Scout in Mount Pleasant, and probably one of the first in Tennessee. He told me that they used to use that cabin at Rattlesnake Falls. So at some point, they took the cabin down in his Boy Scout career. So the best we can figure, it was before World War II, and probably around, I want to say it's probably around 1941. 1938 to 1941, that they dismantled a cabin that was built in the early 1900s and brought it to that location. So that's the history of the cabin. It's everybody that's probably alive today in Mount Pleasant, born here, been through here, remembers that cabin or knows that that cabin has always been there. And it's at the point now we even have a big community bonfire or fix it. So I have kind of stepped in and getting a push from the city is going to be a welcome from Thomas, and I think that I'm going to coordinate the effort as a public citizen on my end and kind of push and have a plan for you next week. I can tell you right now, we've already looked at the building. It's not as in bad shape as you would think. We're going to replace 2 logs in the back end, which are rotten, and we've got a plan for that. We're getting ready to go ahead and proceed, money or no money. We're going to shore up the logs with the new ones, and we're going to pour a concrete footer in the back to preserve that. The next phase will be to preserve the logs themselves. We're going to take it back to the original maroon color. The paint's still there of some of it. So we're actually going to fill that with some type of synthetic concrete, and then preserve those logs with the red. And then once that's stabilized, we're going to have bids for the roof. We're going to put new trusses in and probably extend another 10 or 12 feet and put a picnic table under it. It'll be towards the ball field. That's the immediate plan. The $5,000 will not do that, but I think that we can, I'm certain we will get the building stabilized for that. We will get the roof on for that, and then anything else we're going to raise private funds and kind of use the city, their help is going to offset that with some labor. The boys are willing to help, and I'm pretty sure once the community sees what's going on, that we'll have an outpouring of money and support. So just to kind of let you know, the next month I plan to have you a full list of what the steps are that were completed. I plan to have it completed, dried in, and ready to use no later than January 1st of next year.
That's fantastic, John. I love that. I mean, not only is it a good plan, but it's got a good time frame to it. I'm tired of talking about stuff, I need to see it done. I'm on board with that.
Any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm just glad the money now, I think, is free to where we can actually utilize it. It was earmarked for it. It was lost, it was found, it was lost, it was found. As the fine lady behind me can attest, she has stuck with me the whole time knowing it's there, so she found it.
I know exactly where it's at. We're at the screen on it, and I said it's sitting right here. Yes, so.
And Thomas, if I may, there, along with what John's planning to do with the extra funds, we do have some donors earmarked and a tentative fundraiser project plan to do that community thing too. And as he said, I think people will be willing to, but a fundraiser project to do that with donations to it. And John, if you would put that story down in writing for me, so I can pass it on to Jerry Sands, so we can include that in our history of Mount Pleasant thing that we're putting together. So
He ought to know it.
I
He can
think
make it up as well as I can.
No, I think I would rather have it in your writing than, and I'll plagiarize it from you.
I understand,
But
don't
I think
worry.
that's very interesting to know that
That's good.
Dr. Sands was the first Eagle Scout.
But, I want to thank John for this, because like I said, I went to him about a month ago, and I'm just frustrated with this thing. I'm not a construction superintendent. I don't really know what I'm doing with it, and it got kind of dropped.
Is that y'all's Leadership Murray project?
I'm sorry?
Is that your Leadership Murray project?
It was, but the thing is was Leadership Murray project was.
Y'all no longer get to be
They all
considered one of the
graduated?
best Leadership Murray groups anymore, right?
No, we still want to.
Come on,
They
man.
disappeared. They disappeared.
In all fairness to Thomas, it got dropped again because and if y'all know John Hudson that lives here in town, he's a retired engineer who went out there and gave us some guidelines. We have some other people who are going to donate the concrete to put, and I don't know if there's plans, John, of what you want to do as a foundation, but they've offered to donate the concrete to pour in the bottom of it, and some other people that are, hang out at the bar. You know, that's a good place to tap. There are a lot of people that come in and out of there to eat and, get to talking about things that are going, it's more than, you know, and they're interested in helping the community, and, you know, and they've asked about follow-up with it, and so when people are volunteering, you need to strike while the fire, you know, fire's hot.
Well, hopefully the plan that I lay out for you next month is going to be in very small pieces. It's not going to be a broad, just here, we're going to finish it. I'm going to give the opportunity for volunteers to step up if they like, but we all know how it's kind of like building a church. There's a lot of people say they will help, but when they don't show up, we're going to have the contractor step in and finish. And I don't want anything to hinder the, once we start, we're going to stabilize the building where it'll be here for many more generations.
So when you give us this plan, the steps to fix this, can you include, I know you can't give me exact, but could you give us an estimate of about the cost of each step? So that way we can find people that might take care of this part or that part, or could donate to this
How's
part.
that?
To the penny.
I'm not so much to the penny, but just a rough, because there may be some people that we could contact, and one of them
Well-
might say, well, I'll do this part, or I'll pay for this part.
Now that you bring that up, what I've kind of got in mind is to design it in phases, and maybe we could get those phases. My plan is to never touch the money that's appropriated for the scout. That's my goal. I'm going to try to lay it out to where each phase is appropriated with a cost, and I'm going to try to get somebody to fund that cost as we move forward.
And we can help, you know, we can try to help you do that too.
Sure.
But if we have that in hand, it's much easier than going to somebody, well, how much is it gonna cost? I don't know. But if I could take the plan to them and let them, okay, what part can you help us with?
Well, I hope that when we're finished, we can give that money and use it for something else.
Okay.
That's my goal.
And remember, you're right, like the guys that are doing the concrete, they want to know exactly how much concrete they need.
Right.
And you're exactly right, and John knows that too.
Yeah,
We've
'cause there might be
talked
some
about
people that we could contact and they will say, look, I'll donate or I'll give you what you need for this part of it, you know?
And I think I'd like to cap it off with a flagpole as well, so I think I'd like to make the entire area look kind of like it belongs in Howard Park, like it always has. And I think it's also, and I want to be clear that it is the Scout Hut, that it's not the Boy Scout Hut, it'll be the Girl Scout Hut, Cub Scout Hut, any type Scout that we have is more than welcome to use the facility. It's not, and I just want to make that very clear, that this is a building that hopefully can be used by the community. It was left unused, and that's what's wrong now. The building was just never used and taken care of, and then our Scout troop moved here about, I guess, 4 years ago or 5, and it kind of just, and believe it or not, it was better than where we came from, so we've always been happy there. And I will add this, I know y'all are in a hurry, but my son, Ben, he kind of told me that he thinks, he's excited about the refinish because he thinks it'll excite some other young people to become active again in the programs, because he said it's always been so ugly and embarrassment to hang out there, and it's dirty and it's nasty, and it's just, he said it was never somewhere you really wanted to go to. So he's going to try to entice the young people to find out what they want the interior to be, and what they want it to look like, and to make it a cool place for them to hang out as well.
That's a great idea. Ben's got a lot of good ideas these days.
But any questions, feel free, and I will try to be here next month with a plan. I've got all the contractors right now ready for bids, so I should have at least some money coming.
I'm excited. I think it's a great idea. Glad you're on board.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, the Blue Cross grant.
Blue Cross grant, so that is due at the end of the month. I've already talked with Donna about that again this morning. So she's kind of doing the same one we did last year for Gardenia Park. We're going to resubmit that. She is trying to make it look a little bit more appeasing, I guess. We're not going to change anything on the actual plan itself, but we're just trying to make it look a little bit more appeasing for what we're trying to do, and kind of add some more things in there. It's got the more statistics, I guess, or whatever. So she's working on that. That'll be submitted probably by next Friday. So just need approval to be able to.
In the event we got the grant, will we relocate the Gaga ball pit and stuff?
No, we should have to.
So they won't want to take over the,
No, 'cause
remember last
the
time?
original plan was that little grass area right there wasn't being used anymore.
Okay.
Where this one's at, so we can maneuver stuff around there.
Well, there, excuse me, Tom, there is an accommodation in the grant that do that, where it's written, but it doesn't have to be, but it's amendable to that, that they.
The reason we decided to go ahead and put the Gaga ball pit stuff in is because
I'm glad y'all did, we gotta do something, guys.
grant, you don't ever know if it's gonna go through
Yeah,
or
but
not.
that won't interfere with the grant, that would, as Beth said.
I don't know if they would interfere with getting it, but the last time we applied for this grant, it was kinda like they were gonna send their engineers over, and they would just take over and do the park. If that's the case,
So they would
That's
come in,
still
basically, I wouldn't have to really do, they take our ideas, our plans, they sit down with me and you guys probably, and city manager, and look at, from an engineering standpoint, and then it's not like me trying to do this splash pad thing or anything like that. I mean,
They will
they pretty much
incorporate
take the
that.
ball and run with it. They use their own contractors, they use their own people, that's how they use their own Playcore, I think they use Playcore, which is just a recreational company. And they pretty much do all that with the engineers and stuff, so they get better deals that way. They got a nice one that they just finished in Memphis down there, it's huge. It's probably about a $2.5 million project that they did. The good thing was, last year, they did call us, and they sent us emails asking us if we would switch phase 1 to phase 2 and flip-flop them. So it's a 2-year grant, and we said, yeah, no problem. We thought they would be more appealing at looking at the cheaper part the first year and the more expensive one the second year, but they wanted to flip it, so we flipped it. So, Donna thinks again, it's another chance, and you go at it and you just apply, so, that's where we're at on that, so.
Do we have anything else?
I have a question for, our council, our, lending libraries need some mending. Our libraries need mending. Ben did them, and they're great, and we had a ball doing them, it's fun. We need books in them, and they need a little repair. So if it's, and I think they kind of fall under Parks and Rec with that. I hate to tell you that, Thomas, but I think they do in the city. But if you don't have a problem, I was going to approach the art teacher at school, at the middle and elementary and high school, and the library club to take over that this year, maybe with a monthly check on books in there and see, and use the school as a repository for books if people have them, because a lot of people have asked me, I've been putting books in them, and I checked the ones I haven't in the past 2 months, but I've been checking the ones over by the community center. And as to putting books in them, I mean, they disappear as quick as we get them. And do that and see if they would, enlist the aid of the carpentry class and the art class with just touching them up and cleaning them up to keep them, because they're
The one in the
real-
square is rotten.
Well, the one on the square is not the one Ben had, it's the
No,
one
it's
that's
not.
been longest here. It can be salvaged, it just needs, that's what weather does to them. It's been there 6 years, I think now. And yeah, I know it's leased because Tom's been gone 5 years and it was up there before.
I painted that work on the back of it, so it was one of the first things I painted
Yeah,
here.
so if y'all were, or any ideas you might have with doing that, I'd like to incorporate, and anybody in the community they can put it out to the community. But it's a good service project for them and I know those teachers look for things to get their clubs involved in, but I wanted your permission to do that, to approach.
Well, the way that Ben built his is a much better design, because the water actually runs off, it doesn't just sit on the top of the mailbox.
Yeah, the ones in front of the community center are in great shape.
Huh?
The ones in front of the
Yeah, they
community center are
just
in
need,
great
that's what I'm
shape.
saying, they just need some touch-up and clean. They actually just need another coat of spar varnish on them, which is what we put on. That one didn't have that on. Donna's son built that.
Yeah, and I varnished it to
Yeah,
death.
but it didn't have the spar varnish on it, though. That's what it needed on it. But it's been out there, Bedford, for 6 or 7 years.
Because all that little intricate trim that he put on there was kind of beautiful and everything, but it's just not necessary. It needs, like you said, like that little roof that Ben
We
put on
can,
his.
yeah.
that actually keeps the water off of all those little nooks and crannies, that's what it needs.
So, I
Pitch
mean,
roof.
for what that, I don't know, any ideas y'all have or anything with that, or any other, you know, it could be a Sunday school group, if y'all got any ideas, if you want to get any group that would like to adopt one and take care of it, and I'm not talking about the ones in the people's yard, I'm talking about the ones, did you do 7 of them?
Can you tell me where they're located? I mean, I know the one here.
They're in
but-
both housing facilities.
Well, the one here
By the
is
airport.
not one that's ended, but we can include that in it. There's 2 in front of the community centers, the housing facility, that's 4.
Circle Drive and the one across from the airport.
Yeah, that's 4. But where are those?
There's one down on this road in somebody's yard.
So that's one in a yard.
All these were done in public housing or public, there's one over by the little park,
I can get all the locations of them. I know, we painted them all. I know.
Clark Street?
There's a Dr. Seuss, there's a cookbook,
Yeah.
there's a...
Yeah, there's one down the street from Clark Street, it's right there on the corner.
Yeah.
The housing area.
Yeah.
I think that's where the other.
Yeah, it's right down, right off Clark Street to the right.
Yeah, and then there are 4 in yards. I know that Donna has one in her yard, the Sands have one, Patty has one in her yard. There's one here, so that's 4 more.
The ones in yards, homeowners are probably going to take care of those.
Yeah.
But the ones that are in public housing or public, the public areas.
But no one has destroyed them. This is not destroyed by vandalism. They haven't even marked on the painting or anything. In the
These are all
inside the-
books, right?
These are all books, yeah. And in this one right here, somebody keeps taking and throwing away the, Misty, what do you have in there? It's
The
your
geocacher.
The they keep throwing away the geo.
Yeah, 'cause Erin looks for it every time she comes down here.
And it's not, it's the geo.
Well, what they're doing is they take it out, we found it, last time Aaron was down there just 2 weeks ago, we were looking all over the place for it, and lo and behold, it's sitting right there at our feet, right on the ground.
Well, somebody thought it was, for a couple of times, they
We
thought
looked
it was
everywhere for
trash
it.
and threw it away, but it's the geo
Yeah, it's there.
clue. But anyway, so they're making use of them, and then also, so you'll know, the art grant is up, but the app is not ready, but if you've noticed the artwork that has gone around town with the scavenger hunt with that. So I'll bring some more information to you about that, so you can incorporate that in whatever y'all might like to do as soon as that app is running. But I know Bedford did some artwork, but you'll notice, you did how many?
I did 7 of them.
7 of them, okay. There's some artwork around town, and clues and other things that it's kind of neat. And there'll be a scavenger hunt with
Is
that.
that up yet?
Huh?
Is it up yet?
No, that's idiot. And he's an idiot, the man doing the app, but hopefully it will be up.
Pretty cool, it's going to be the only one within, I think the only other ones in Colorado.
Yeah.
They're in the Louvre
It's an
Museum,
app.
and they're in all the famous museums and places in England.
Yeah, and you do it, and you get on your phone, and you go around, and you find all the places in town where the artwork is by that, and put it in, so it's really neat.
I can tell you where they all are, you only have to hunt, man. Let me know.
No, Betsy, that's funny.
Are they downtown, all downtown?
From the post office is the furthest one's north, and the furthest one south should be at the corner of Bond and Glass.
Right now they are, Misty, but it's an app.
Me and April were going to do a scavenger hunt at church Sunday.
Okay, that's what we're trying to get it done, so you do, and then, hopefully up by the hayride, not the hayride, by the barbecue fest, we're going to have a hayride or a wagon ride of the houses, sort of like we did, remember years ago when, oh gosh, I can't think of
Dean
the
and
name.
Ed?
Yeah, her husband, their brother got arrested for the gun. Remember that, when he got arrested? The police stopped him for the gun, when we did that hayride. He had a Civil War gun, the police arrested him for having a weapon.
There's one
They really
that's
did arrest him for having a weapon on the
he's
street.
fine.
Anyway, that will be up and running, that's something y'all will have to incorporate with the parks and that.
Nobody will do it.
You want me to take
But
that
it'll
picture,
be
email you
ready,
pictures of it?
October 1st, so I'll bring that to the October
I'll
meeting.
do that tomorrow, walk
I
around.
got 2 more quick things. Bedford, are you gonna be, so the community center is just, man, it's maxed right now. I mean, the next couple months, on weekends, there's something going on all the time. I need to find a person to manage that thing now, but are y'all gonna be doing Wednesday nights?
We'd like to, I mean, I told
That's
him.
fine, I just need to, because I'm putting, we got between refit and Zumba and There's spin classes, I got nickeling going
It
12,
got
30
hot,
classes
man.
now.
It got hot in the gym, you know,
There's just
so.
something going on in there, like, all the
They kinda
time
gave
right
up on
now,
me.
so, which is a good thing, I mean, it's getting used. Second thing is, real quick, just to let y'all know, Thunder over Murray is being moved. So, it looks like we're gonna move that to, that'll make some people happy in here.
Yes.
One right down there. That way I can get her to volunteer.
For 2 years, I've had to miss the first day of my beach trip.
So, we pretty much, voted to move it to, I wanna keep it patriotic, so it's,
Armed Forces Day.
to, Armed Forces Day. We're gonna try this year, just to fill you in on a few things, we're gonna try to get some more, bigger trucks type in, you know, of different things. It can be a fire truck, it can be some big digger, Bob the Builder type things, or whatever. Something that kids can kinda look at and see, and we wanna turn it more into, having more, military people there, honoring the veterans and different things like that. So we got some great ideas for this year, next year, but it looks like we're gonna move it there, and maybe won't be so stinking hot. So, RC guys.
Might not have a water slide.
So May 16th,
Yeah, it's May 16th, I believe, this year. And the cool thing with that is Armed Forces Day is always on a Saturday, no matter what. So last year it was like
yeah, it's not
May,
the same day. It's on-
yeah, last year was like May 18th, or year before May 16th, if you follow it through. So it's usually right before kids are getting out of school, we can get more volunteers out there, we can keep the, groups involved in it, you know, like what you guys did, and maybe
Is that
we
your
can...
graduation, Lily?
I know that is our graduation.
No, it's just her graduation. Yours is, everyone, yeah, it's your graduation. But, I mean, that's not all day. I mean, graduation's a couple hours.
Yeah.
But-
At least you're not out of town.
No.
Yeah, I think most people are gonna be in town that weekend, I think it
Yeah.
looks a little bit better, so I kinda came up with that date.
Later in the
You know,
day,
flat
you're not-
if you didn't want it,
Before
but-
Memorial Day.
You're not gonna make it a, Thomas, you're not gonna make it an all-day event?
No, it's gonna probably again start up at 2 o'clock again. And we can even start later this year if we need to, because we are not gonna bring in actually planes this year. We're kinda ditching that. We're probably gonna shut down the whole airport. And it's only gonna be used for Vanderbilt. So the airport wants us to do that because it's, when you do something at 2 o'clock, the fly-in people just aren't really flying in. They wanna fly in early in the morning, and I don't wanna run that event 18 hours. It's too much. So,
It almost killed me the first year.
expand Kid Zone, expand the
Oh,
RC guys, bring in some bigger trucks and make the troop thing type a little bit more.
So with
with,
Armed Forces Day, you can kinda do like veterans and,
We're trying to get it like.
like,
We're basically.
service those people now. Like, you don't have to, because like Memorial Day, you gotta kinda do, you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, but
I
this way
think
you
it's gonna
kinda
be
do
a
both.
pretty big ordeal if we move it
You do
to,
active or.
that
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty excited about it, so be looking for some updates on that. We're, you know, I kinda put it to the side the past few weeks,
We're
working on
already
that.
looked at ROTC.
Anything else? I should.
I'm not even to get on the board, Thomas, you don't even know.
Do I?
Nothing.
He's
He's on the board.
We got most to move that one.
I haven't.
You wanna be on the
No,
board?
I'm only joking, I said,
I'd love to have you on the board. I'll put you right on it. I was gonna say, Misty, you weren't here when I was talking about this, but the, I was really trying hard, I want you to know. I know you gave me a deadline for the swing set. And it is not done, but, I mean, hear me out. They've been working, okay? The grass has been high, and they've been cutting this stuff every day, and it's just, it's on Steve's radar, we're trying, and I kept saying, Missy's gonna have it to me when I get there, and he's like, I'm sorry, I mean, they are trying, so we brought it up to me several times.
Yeah, oh, it's circled in my,
I know it's on there, I kept telling him that Missy's gonna have me, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, he.
So we are trying, but we should have that done hopefully soon, it's
So
on the
this is
radar.
swing set at,
Cardine.
Yeah.
We can't keep up with grass right now, grass just grows too much around here, ridiculous.